Today we're working on a GX345. We did a service on this 345, including a new filter here, as well as the filter down there. We got them covered in sawdust now, but here's the old filters we took out. And when we went to fill up the reservoir, boy, it started leaking everywhere. And what we found was that this seal here on top had failed. So we're gonna replace that seal. I'll show you how we go about that. What we've got here is a new seal, and it was also missing the snap ring that goes above the seal. We'll replace both of those. To remove the old seal, we're going to use an assortment of tools, and I like to use a little bit of gasket sealant around the outside of the seal whenever I put it in. Need to remove the nut and the washer. The snap ring was already missing from this one, so we don't have to worry about taking it out. There's the seal. Came out pretty easy. We've got some debris in here. We want to make sure we get all of that out. We got the spring and all that stuff. So there's that. Everything else looks okay. I'm gonna want to take a rag and just clean all that out. I want to make this area as clean as I can before I put the new seal in. After we get the new seal in, I'm going to pull this dude outside and power wash all this gunk out. Whenever this oil, someone clearly knew that it was leaking, they kept refilling it and it kept leaking out. There's so much residue on here. The problem with all this residue building up is that we've got these fins. You see these fins on these transmissions like this. What they're designed for is to increase the amount of surface area that the transmission can cool down from. So whenever you cover up all these fins, they get all filled with gunk. The transmission isn't able to cool as effectively. Same goes with an air-cooled engine or anything like that. So it's good to keep your transmission clean on the outside, even though it is just a lawnmower. All right, we've got that cleaned up. I'm going to double check everything before we put the new seal in. John Deere has a handy website that you can use to check to see everything that you need. And if we're looking at the parts catalog, this is the new seal that we ordered. This ring is already in there, this ring is already in there, the bearing is already in there, and that ring is already in there. So we need to put this seal on, which we'll do. And then if we take a look at the another page here, we can see that there's an additional snap ring which was missing here. We're going to put that snap ring in before we put the pulley and fan back on. All right, here's the shaft. The shaft splines, look fine, maybe a little worn. Like I said, we've got the ring already installed down there, as well as the big ring holding the bearing in. So the next thing that goes on is the new seal. So the new seal will slide right down over that. I'm going to put a little bit of sealant around first, and then there's a snap ring that goes into place right there, right in that groove once the seal is in. That was missing from this, so we didn't have to take that out, but we'll put that in. Push that down in there. Should be able to see how far it goes down. They don't always necessarily have to be shoved in as far as they can go. Sometimes It's just to be flush with the outside. So that's all that we're going to do on this one, is make it flush to the outside. Be on our way. Heading out. All right, so I looked at another transaxle that we happen to have, and it was actually missing this snap ring, and so the pulley was just tightened down on that. We're going to put this snap ring in here so that whenever the pulley gets tightened down, it gets tightened down onto that snap ring like it should, instead of getting tightened down on something else. So we're going to let that sit, let the gasket sealant set up for just a little bit. We're going to power wash all of this and then put the pulley and fan back on, get all this put back together. But that's all it takes to replace one of these top seals. It's really not too bad of a job at all. There's more seals on this, including a seal here. This is your neutral rod lever. There's also seals on either axle. There's a seal. This one happens to have differential lock, so there's a seal on it. And then there's a seal on this side as well. We know that this seal was leaking, so that's the only one we replaced at this time. You may, if you're experiencing leaks, it could also be from where your hydraulic reservoir attaches there. But once you're able to get to everything, the seals really aren't too bad to replace.